Adelaide. It's a world-class city, and the Clipsal 500 is a world-class sporting event. But don't be fooled by the beauty of this backdrop, because today is one of the toughest days on the V8 Supercars circuit. It's the final 250 Ks of the Clipsal 500. Sunday race day is brutal.
Matt, there is no question about it. I mean, you're right. You go home, and I can tell you on Saturday night, you are aching. The pit lane will be using all sorts of recovery mechanisms to get yourself back in shape for Sunday. And you need to, because on the back of having done 250 Ks, remember how tight and tough this circuit is, gruelling, you've got to bounce back and do 250 Ks of the toughest, smartest racing you're going to need to do all year.
Tell you what, Larko, 2002 was my first Clipsal 500 and it absolutely smashed me. I didn't even make it to Sunday's race and got pulled out of the car halfway through Saturday. That's what this race does. It tries to break you.
Backing up is one of the hardest things any athlete or driver has to do. Matty, as much as I'd like to be out there, I'm happy I've got the best seat in the house. It's one of my favourite racing days of the year. Sunday at the Clipsal 500 on your home of big event motorsport, Network 10. No doubt about it, this is the big one. 250 Ks in one hit, and the good news for drivers and fans alike, it's going to be much cooler today with temps in the mid-20s, and Adelaide has really embraced this year's event. But today's payday at the Clipsal 500. It's the race weekend that always delivers, and it's going to be a busy one on your home of big event motorsport here at Network 10. Great to be with you. I'm Matt White alongside this man, Mark Webber. And Mark, I've got to say, I reckon that you even were surprised at the intensity of this event so far.
Absolutely, mate. I think just from the practice sessions, you're seeing qualifying. These guys are 2 races yesterday and today. They got a monster race, 250k around here. The barriers are tight. It's they've had a tough, hot day yesterday. Teams and drivers are going to be completely on the case to get a result here, no question about it. You've done racing at the highest level. You're now in the World Endurance Championship, so you know about backing up. What are the keys to backing up and getting back out there again? Well, they've got to just focus on the process today. They've got their final race day here for this first round of the championship. Some are in better moods than others in terms of, you know, trying to bounce back from maybe a sticky Saturday or building on a sensational few results already. So just the basics, mate. They need to be well hydrated today. They need to, from a driver perspective, yeah, hydrated, eat well. Hopefully they've had a good sleep, good quality this morning for them, and then focus on the big race and make sure they keep the concentration up. It's a physical and mental challenge, this one, and yesterday was a mixture of real class but all...
For Shane. Can he do it? Can he go back-to-back? James Courtney at the Clipsal 500. It's like Garth lost a little bit more ground in the background there a moment ago. Also lurking around there, you've seen occasional glimpses of the car, was I think it was Will Davison in the Erebus car in the background. And then here's the gap back to the next group, which is now headed by Jamie Whincup. This is one of the interesting things for Jamie, that when they don't quite have the firepower, he still racks up good solid points. There he is in the foreground at the moment. There'd be nothing wrong with walking away from here with a 4th placing. So 4th placing on the Sunday is still worth 120 points. And that's the aim of the game once they know they're not in a winning position. So that safety car and its arrival, and then the way in which the strategies were played, gave everybody something to think about here. Just encouraging James once again to be accurate and hit the marks. He just got a curb strike, and that's only his first, so it's late in the game now. He can afford a few of those. Take a look at how things might shake out depending upon the outcome of this race. Provisionally, at the top from Tander. Coulthard, yesterday's race 2 winner, and Van Gisbergen, who you are riding with here right now in the Darrell Lee entry. But we're not done yet in this race. As Murph suggested, has Shane got a little something in reserve, just cooled off, let things regather.
Just want to watch and listen to Shane at work here at the moment and just see what he's got and listen to the throttle come to the corners, and he still looks like he's in reasonable shape. He's just got to find the right moment here. Let's just ride with him.
Still only one strike. 3 laps to go.
That applies to both drivers. 1 strike for curb hopping for both Courtney and for Van Gisbergen. Not much in it, is there, when you look at it? 1 or 2 occasions there were moments where I saw Shane just having to catch the car and focusing now on what James is up to in his car, and they've both got gremlins here and there, and in other places their cars are very good for this late stage of the game.
Just trying to put this all in perspective for everybody at home, and these guys have been in these cars, these sweat boxes, for coming up to 2 hours. They've got their cool suits on, but the air temperature in there, Neil, as you would know, is excessive, probably in the vicinity 50, 60 degrees today. They have been battling it out non-stop for that period of time. The concentration required to focus like those 2 guys at the front are doing, to punch out those laps and not give it away to each other. The concentration is just enormous, and they are both doing a good job, and they will not give up until the last lap is done.
At the peak of their powers, aren't they, these guys? They're super fit, they're in their race cars, and they're thinking about it day and night. And so it's just a video game for them at the moment. It's great to watch. Not much in it. Van Gisbergen, by the way, has just gone curb strike number 2. Back end of the race, he's going to dip into that bank, and that's probably a controlled strategy on his part. Gee, there's nothing in it once again. Van Gisbergen's going to have a huge lunge. He made a nice run through 8. He tries and tries and tries to sneak down the inside under brakes, but again his nose is chopped off.
Nail-biting stuff for James Courtney. No one has gone back-to-back at the Clipsal 500 since Jamie Whincup, 2008, 2009. The other person to do it, Marcus Ambrose, 2004 and 05. Could James Courtney join that group today?
Incidentally, Ambrose is 15th in the field at the moment. So there's 2 to go. It's the replay of what happened down at turn 9. It was another exploratory look, but it didn't quite work. Oh, that's curb strike number 3 now for Van Gisbergen. So he's gone rogue agent. He's decided to throw it across the top of the curbs now to see what can be achieved. So he's out of manoeuvres. He's got to try and do everything he can. James is looking solid in terms of concentration. He's resisting the pressure. I reckon there was a tiny, tiny edge in lap speed for Van Gisbergen, but the hot, disturbed air was doing him no favours. And now it's just going to be about real driver savvy. Tander has got no response, but it's been a wonderful job in recovery. He's going to get a podium on these numbers, and that's going to yield a big pile of points, and that's a great way to start the series, because yesterday he had a good run, 2 results in the top 10. No lunge this time at turn 9 for Van Gisbergen.
Stressed faces back inside the pit bunker. Jonathan Webb watching his man in the Darrell Lee entry, the 2013 Clipsal 500 winner, the Kiwi Shane Van Gisbergen, battling last year's winner, hoping to go back-to-back. Courtney, lap car in front of them, the Super Black Racing entry. He's close here. He's close.
Really close. So this is going to stir the crowd along here.
You got last lap, you got a hop to use.
So it was a love bite through the final corner. Van Gisbergen on Courtney. No curb hops for either of them. James got through there cleanly. Shane's going to have a very, very big go on this last lap. He may as well play all or nothing. Courtney's resisting the pressure. Tander is content. So the only way that this is likely to happen at the moment is most likely down at turn 9. And I don't know, looking at that margin at the moment, that he's going to be close enough, quite frankly.
We know he's a brave guy. We know that he's fast, Shane Van Gisbergen, but he's been showing some real smarts in his relatively recent racing. He's fast through turn 8. They're close to the wall, but Courtney seems to have the edge. Big, deep under brakes from the 97, but not as close as the previous time around. Options, time running out for Van Gisbergen here. The HRT crew maybe about to go back-to-back close to the wall off the exit of 11. It's the run home. Crowd are on their feet. Shane, time I think has run out as they come through that final corner. James Courtney will go back-to-back at the Clipsal 500. He wins in 2015.
Awesome work. Unbelievably controlled drive, mate. Great work. He did everything he could, but he couldn't get you. Great stuff.
Something ugly's happened there with Mostert and Moffat. That looked very nasty. Detract somewhat from the celebrations for these guys, but that's been a brilliant drive from James Courtney to resist the pressure. So Chaz Mostert, James Moffat, big heavy contact.
Yeah, tough luck, mate. Not much you can do there.
So Whincup and Mostert together, and Moffat just a victim. This is turn 10. Wow. Heavy contact with the concrete wall, and James Moffat just ended up being absolutely in the wrong postcode at that wrong moment.
There'll be some tension over that in the meantime.
Through 9 and 10 there, mate. There's a big accident in 9 and 10, so when you get there, be real careful. Medicals on the scene.
So let's hope the guys are okay on that basis then, given the severity of that hit. Celebrations have started for James Courtney.
Right, so when you get back here, we've turned down the pit lane and you'll park yourself.
Moffat out of the car, assessing the damage. He'd shown good pace over the weekend. The 6 is moving, so that's an encouraging sign for Mostert. Look at the damage to it. Hit the wall yesterday, and then this within sight of the finish today. Crabbing the car sideways, trying to get back to the lane. Awesome stuff by Courtney. 90 career pole positions were achieved today. Did a great job. And goes on to add to his victory from last year, of course, with this outfit.
Just amazed by that scene that we witnessed a few moments ago of all that drama at turn 10. But this is a sweet reward here for James Courtney. Back-to-back. Not a bad way to open your account, and he's going to lead the championship as a result of yesterday's points haul. Nice way to go to the next round of the championship.
In terms of event, 5th podium for him here, 2nd race win, of course. And as Neil said in the introduction today, to be the overall, to claim the overall win at the Clipsal 500 is by virtue of your result on Sunday. He has done it. said during the week that the rebuild of the team is done. They've got to start delivering results. That this rebuild, which has taken a few years to get HRT back to where they used to be in that dominant period of Scaife and Lowndes and others. Is this the beginning of that phase? He is wrapped. Courtney. Nothing wrong with those energy levels.
Not at all.
That's a great drive. It's not just a case of picking up a race victory there. It's a case of withstanding astonishing pressure from Shane van Gisbergen, who was just unrelenting.
Good battle, wasn't it? Really good battle. Let's go to Rihanna.
Congratulations, James Courtney. You open up your 2015 season with back-to-back Clipsal 500 wins.
Oh, how good is that? That was epic. The strategy, the way it played out, we dropped back in the field and had to charge back through. And Shane had the youngest set of tyres at the end there, and we took everything to keep him behind me. And you know, great effort from the boys. Some good clean stops, good strategy, and thank God I pulled it off. It's amazing. Thank you.
Shane van Gisbergen, he was pushing and pushing. He gave it everything he possibly could give, but you hold on. Yeah,
it was a really good fight with Cheese. We had a little coming together, but no, it was a good, clean battle, and HRT Commodore came out on top this weekend, Rihanna.
Thank you very much. Frank the Tank is back. Shane van Gisbergen. Congratulations, you gave it everything you possibly had and more. He just had a little bit more that time.
Yeah, the strategy's going on. We didn't know what was going to happen, but that was just awesome. So good to have the Jolie Sticks car up the front. Yeah, it makes up for yesterday's second race, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. That was pretty cool.
It was a sensational race, full of strategy, full of pace in the cars. There was plenty of action going on behind you, but you guys up the front, you just had that little bit more speed than the guys behind you.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had one good look at him and then just slid into him a bit, my mistake, so I let him back through. But yeah, just epic race. So happy. It was great fun.
Well done, Shane. Enjoy the champagne on the podium. Garth Tander, yesterday you wanted to rectify. You lost plenty of cars, but you didn't have to do it as much today. Congratulations on the podium.
Yeah, thanks. Both James and Shane probably just had that little bit more pace than I did. I was hanging on as best I could, and I was sort of egging Shane on, come on, have a go, so then I could slow through on both of them. But I'm really happy JC won. Awesome job by the team. Guys have done a mega job. Cars are really fast and really enjoying driving them. So Scarlett told me last night I must try harder and try and get on the podium. So that's for you, Dove.
Brilliant advice by Scarlett. 25th anniversary here. Holden fans massive here at the Clipsal 500 to have both HRT cars on the podium. Sensational.
Yeah, like Shane said, it was a mega race. It was a lot of fun. We're pushing this. Nothing left, and there's a lot of Holden support here in Adelaide, and hope you really enjoyed it, and we did, and looking forward to a beer tonight.
Well done, Garth.
Cheers.
He's earned it. It's a family game. Really cool that his daughter had that advice for him. So James Courtney, the first to go back-to-back Clipsal 500 overall wins since Whincup in 08 and 09. He is just the fourth driver to achieve that feat in the event's history. Scaife, Ambrose, Whincup, and now Courtney have done it. Second time HRT has gone back-to-back as well. Mark Scaife did it 2002 and 03. Seventh Clipsal 500 win for the Holden Racing team. More than any other in the event's history. It's HRT's 13th individual race win at the Clipsal 500 as well. Moving back in front of Triple Eight by one to retake the record as most race wins by a team in the event's history. Awesome stuff, as Shane van Gisbergen said, just in terms of the quality of the racing and the strategy today. They let things cool off a little bit. For a while there, Courtney seemed vulnerable under that pressure from van Gisbergen. Then Shane kind of regathered as well, had a real good go at it with 2 laps remaining. Big lunge under brakes. as we get set for the podium now.
It's time for the podium for race 3 of the Clipsal 500 Adelaide. Your first place driver for the Holden Racing Team, James Courtney. In second place for Team Techno Darrell Lee, Shane Van Gisbergen. And in third place for the Holden Racing Team, Garth Tander. Who better to take the team's award than the team owner of the Holden Racing Team, Ryan Walkinshaw. Presenting the trophy for third place, Mr. Jeff Timms, Director of Sales, Schneider Electric. The second place trophy is to Andrew Ford, Chairman of the South Australian Motorsport Board. For the winning team, Mr. David Gardner, Vice President of Clipsal Schneider Electric Partner Business. Your first place trophy, the Honourable Leon Bignell MP, Minister for Motorsport. And the winner's laurel, Mark Warren, Chief Executive of the South Australian Motorsport Board. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2015 V8 Supercars Clipsal 500 Adelaide Race 3 winners!
Congratulations to James Courtney. 176th Australian Touring Car Championship V8 Supercar win for the Holden Racing Team. Extends their record in the category over every other team there in championship history. Maybe they're back. Great way to start, just as James did in 2014, Greg.
Yeah, here with Jamie Whincup. Obviously not the result you're quite looking for. The car speed just wasn't quite there today.
Yeah, no, just didn't quite have the pace today, so we were just trying to hang in there and get as many points as we can. But yeah, hey, obviously that last lap was a bit unfortunate. You know, I don't like to see damaged cars at any time. There was a car dropping oil, and it was in front of me through turn 8. So I backed off. Chaz went through flat out, had a bit of a run at me down to the hairpin. We did the crossover. He tried to go around the outside of the next, and hey, I can't disappear. So unfortunate for the incident, but yeah, I feel like I was a bit of an innocent bystander.
So he didn't give you enough room. He hadn't completed the pass, and you were still in there and really had nowhere to go.
Yeah, I was far up against the wall as I could, you know, and I couldn't go anywhere else. And he cut in. I assume he tried to leave me a car length, but that went to 3/4, and we just touched wheels. So as I say, unfortunate there's any damage, but yeah, we'll go home, do some homework, and see if we can improve our pace for the next one.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed weekend for you. Obviously, very strong Saturday. Had that issue yesterday, and you know, not too bad a result today. Still a decent amount of points for the weekend.
Yeah, hey, a lot of positives out of the weekend. So we'll go away and we'll take them. But of course, there's always negatives, always things we can improve on. So no, we'll keep our head down, keep doing the homework. Congratulations to HRT guys. This is one of the biggest events of the year, and you know, I'm happy for them. It's a huge win.
Well, it's I've just been given a stat. It's the first time in 3 years that a Red Bull car hasn't been on the podium on Sunday.
Yeah, no, we're really good. To be honest, yeah, that was one of the slowest cars I've had around here for a long time. So yeah, we'll go away, do our homework. As I said, congratulations to the other guys who got on the podium. It's hard work around here.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks. Cheers.
So that's the way things wrap up. No doubt we'll look forward to hearing Chaz Mostert's side of the story. We take a look after 3 races here at the Clipsal 500. James Courtney, the man who won the championship in 2010, was a huge star in go-karts and open wheelers as a youngster. Originally from Sydney, now based on the Gold Coast, is your points leader. Our thanks to Neil Crompton, Rihanna Crean and Greg Murphy. It's been an awesome weekend here at the Clipsal 500.
Yeah, thanks, Rusty. We'll check in with you and Crompo very shortly for your wrap-up. And Mark Webber, that thrilling finish to the race, I think it says a lot of things about a lot of people. Not only Garth Tander's professionalism to bring it home in third, Shane Van Gisbergen is a freak and a fighter, but James Courtney has made a championship statement there. He's going to fight all the way for this championship in 2015, and by holding off somebody like Van Gisbergen, really impressed you. Yeah, it did. It was a quality finish to the race. I mean, if you look at the amount of pressure that was going on, and I think Shane actually had a bit of an engine issue, in my opinion. He's the move down the inside, he tried, and then he had a second go at it. You see him release the brake, goes inside, contact. I was surprised that he gave it back, but obviously the rules out here in V8 are that it wasn't a clean enough move, so obviously he redressed that, which was sensational sportsmanship. So battle back on, and then yeah, there was a few times where James was under a lot of pressure here. You see him trying to get through the last corner as clean as possible. Another little touch there. So interesting, you know, how they tried to battle it out all the way through, and I just think that, you know, the quality of driving was just exceptional, really, just how much pressure they put on each other. We've got to remember that Van Gisbergen stopped later, so he had 4 fresh tyres. James Courtney had 2 new on the rear, and that's where he was struggling, but he just managed to hold off and hold off. And when you got somebody like Van Gisbergen at the top of his game with a fast car, although the straight line speed certainly wasn't there, wow, that's a pretty big thing to do at this stage of the season. The first Sunday race day, one of the biggest trophies on offer outside of Bathurst, because if you can go home from the Clipsal with the overall trophy, and not only that, do it 2 years in a row, you've achieved something pretty special. It's now 7 wins in a row for Holden at the Clipsal. 7 Holdens inside the top 10. The best of the Fords was Mark Winterbottom. 2 Nissans of Rick Kelly and Todd Kelly finish inside the 10, and I've seen this countless times before, mate. The crowd get to their feet and they roar approval. Not only is this Commodore country, but they've just witnessed a classic finale. They have. The race was sensational. The whole weekend was awesome. They've got, you know, there's so many activities going on. We've got F-18s, we've got trucks, we've got all sorts here. And I think also that bodes really well for the whole championship, because you've got the 2 HRTs, meaning business. Obviously the Giz is there, and we know that the Triple 8 will come back. Marcus Ambrose fought the war the whole day. He made it inside the top 10 shootout. He ended up finishing in 12th spot, so just outside the top 10. That's a great learning experience, and that's what they're here for. He want to impress Roger Penske while he's in town. Yeah, no, that's right. No, he did a really good job coming through and learning as much as possible. He can't, you know, do much more. The sessions, like he said, actually made a really good point. He's learning in front of everyone still. You know, he can't go and do the testing, he can't go and get the mileage to sort of build that bank of experience up. So he's doing in front of all the cameras and all the media and all the interest, and even the big trees coming out to see him. So it's a good event. Just let me ask you, just back on that redress move from Van Gisbergen on Courtney, and you just said, you know, great sportsmanship. Yeah. Do you reckon when he looks back he might think, geez, I could probably have tried to ride my luck on that one? Yeah, well, he was a fair way in there, and then I think James also, whether James missed the apex or he left him that much room, I'm not sure, because here I think James could see him coming, release the brake. Shane's in there, contact, a long way in. You know, he was a long way beside him for me on the apex, and especially here, I think he would have liked to have pinched him a bit lower, even keep the heat on for the next few years. Hard on the brakes, down the gears, inside their contact. And he rolls out of the throttle here and lets James is obviously behind the curb in the dirt, and then yeah, they got back into the battle. So mate, I'm not an experienced guy with this type of racing, but you know, what would you have done though, you reckon? I think it was he was into the AP. He didn't the contact was pretty heavy. I think that was the biggest thing that upset Shane. The contact was probably too heavy. The positioning was good, but the contact was too heavy, which pushed James wide. And yeah, he gave him the spot back. So James Courtney takes the victory. It's the 13th of his career. Still more to come from the Clipsal 500. Stick around on your home of Big Event Motorsport.
Sundays 4 to 5, RPM is back. Right here on 10. For the latest from the world of V8 Supercars, Formula 1, MotoGP, and a whole lot more, make sure you join us. RPM, Sundays 4 to 5.
It went the distance, and in the end it was like 2 prized fighters going at it, and Garth Tander just waiting to see if they'd knock each other out. But in the end, James Courtney survived and claims a huge win, back-to-back Clipsal 500 trophies on the Sunday, surviving 250 Ks, 78 laps, and the celebrations at Walkinshaw Racing, especially having 2 of their guys on the podium at the end of the day, is quite extraordinary. 93,600 people here just for today, an overall crowd of 200. 600, and that's the third highest ever. We're going to check in with Mark Larkham and Rick Kelly in the Shell Helix Technology Hub to wrap up a pretty crazy day, Larko.
Got Rico down here, mate. He was out there amongst the craziness. One thing we want to do, though, I just want to roll this bit of vision, Rick, and get you to have a look at it, see what your take is on this Van Gisbergen and Courtney incident that happened on the track. And while we're waiting for that to come up, here we go. Just give us your read on this, mate, from the race driving point of view.
Well, I was a long way back from this, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, late move, huh? Bit of contact. I wonder if Courtney's even seen him there, but Gizzy, he's probably the most talented driver in the field, there's no doubt about that, and that's sportsmanship at the best, isn't it? I mean, letting him back through, probably didn't need to do that because you would get called on the radio whether he should readdress or not, but he's felt he needed to and done it, so I reckon good on him.
Hey, Rico, it was a tough day of the... In fact, Gaz, if we can just come back here just very quickly. I just quickly drew. That was Courtney's strategy and Shane Van Gisbergen's strategy. We don't need to go through it, but it just shows the complexity in terms of 3 stops versus 2 stops, 2 tyres versus 4 tyres. I actually can't remember a race where strategically it was so hard to work out, Rick.
Well, from where I was sitting, I couldn't work it out, that's for sure. We did the 3 stop as well and come out of the pits with really good pace, but it was a little bit too late for us. We got a call straight out of the pits, 8 laps to go. At that point, I thought there was still half a race to go. The race went that quick. So again, qualifying laps every single lap, but for HRT to have 2 on the podium, it's a pretty impressive job. And the way into the weekend, they're certainly very vocal about how strong they think they're going to be, and they've backed it up.
Did you see the Chaz Mostert crash at the end there, mate?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, it was probably a little bit late for that sort of move. There's no doubt about that. And I didn't want, it was huge, huge accident. I really just snuck around. You can see my car, the black one, they're just missing it around the right-hand side. And unfortunately, Moff, who did an outstanding job the whole race, got caught up in it. So probably not the need for 2 corners from the end, 78-lap race. Let's just get to the end, huh?
Hey, Matty White, now just before we go, I want you to tell Mark Webber, he said about Shane Van Gisbergen. Here's the board we put up on Thursday, mate. Who's hot? HRT, then Van Gisbergen. Well done, Larko.
Yeah, well done, Larko. You got one right after all these years. Well done, mate. Hey, we've got our V8 Series commentators standing by. Greg Rust and Neil Crompton in pit lane. Fantastic effort, boys. One hell of a race, and this Sunday never ceases to deliver. But what about the fight at the end, Crompo, and the way, especially that we've been talking about, how James Courtney got the elbows out and held off a flying Giz?
Sorry, Matty, I know you asked a question, but there was somebody else in my ears there, so I didn't hear a word of it. Apologies.
He was interested in the battle between Shane Van Gisbergen and James Courtney at the end there, how Van Gisbergen threw absolutely everything at him. It was good stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. What a tight race, and just the whole strategy play of the thing was just ridiculously tight all the way. And, in the end, the HRT boys pulled 3 stoppers, and Shane Van Gisbergen pulling that 2-stopper, much more of a standard strategy, and it turned on a great race for us towards the back end. There's going to be a lot of feeling up and down the pit lane, as there always is at the end of these races, as everybody works out what was right and wrong with the whole process, and all that business over here at turn 10 on the last lap of the race is pretty weird as well.
Well, they're just debriefing that, of course, with Rick Kelly there and having a chat with Larko about it. I'd be interested to hear the opposite side. We spoke in the coverage, of course, with Jamie Whincup. Love to hear Mostert's side of the equation as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that he'll have a fairly strong view of whatever's gone on there, so that'll need to be investigated very carefully in race control, and they've got the ability to do that with the data that they can get from the cars together with the onboard cameras, and we'll get a result out of that.
And some pretty disappointed, in the Nissan pit there too, Matty, given the damage to James Moffat's car.
Absolutely. Quick one thruster sets the scene for an amazing 2015. 3 races, 3 different winners.
Yeah, it certainly does, Matty. And, the strategy today, as Neil said, was just, even Larko touched on it there a moment ago too, some pretty wild things to sort of go back and digest from this race. James going back-to-back hasn't been done for a while. He's now joined the likes of Jamie Whincup, Mark Skay, for example, and, of course, Marcus Ambrose. But we've got a long way to go in this championship. That's the key thing. Pretty cool for him to go back-to-back, but a long ways to go.
Yeah, very important for these guys in here because they've spent a lot of money. Ryan Walkinshaw has invested very heavily in trying to get all the right people together. Mark Webber asked earlier in the weekend what are all the little 1%ers required to get the job done, and Adrian Burgess has been trying to put all those together in a tiny little block, tick the boxes along the way, and they've done that. So they've put a bit of pressure now on Red Bull. A lot of people wanted to see that, of course, except for Red Bull. So let's see what happens as the series rolls on.
Hell of a long way to go. Thanks very much. Great calling today. Rusty, great to see you back in the commentary box, mate. Gives us a lot to talk about on RPM next weekend. We're going to grab a quick break and then we'll wrap it all up here at the Clipsal 500. Stick around.
You want motorsport? You're in the right place. Follow our man Dan as he bids for Formula One glory.
It's Ricciardo's 3rd win in 6 races.
Jack's back, but this time he's racing the big boys at MotoGP. And follow follow every round of the V8s.
Look at that.
Big contact this time. If that's not enough, RPM is back. Sundays from 4 till 5. Network 10, your home of big event motorsport.
Only two men in the history of the Clipsal 500 have gone back-to-back in terms of Sunday wins. Marcus Ambrose in 04 and 05 and Jamie Whincup in 08 and 09. And now in 2014, 2015, James Courtney, the Holden Racing team, has claimed the trophy on the Sunday. Our Penrite play of the round, little feature we're going to throw in, and we thought we'd just have a bit of a laugh because Marcus Ambrose did a great job throughout the race to finish just outside the top 10. He made the shootout. This is what happened to him on his in-lap after his shootout lap. So inside the top 10, did everything right, and Mark Webber, he just threw it away at the end. A bit of...
Yeah, well, he did his lap in qualifying and then, fell asleep basically on the in-lap, probably on the radio or thinking about how he's going to improve for the shootout, which he did make at that time, and got the entry a little bit wrong, and now he's on the curb and then he's on the grass, and now I've just scraped the wall, so he must have felt a little bit imbalanced.
You've often talked all the way throughout the weekend about concentration levels and mind management for the drivers. It doesn't matter if you spent 10 years in NASCAR, you're a previous champion, you get your mind off the job even on a cool-down lap, and you can go anywhere.
Yeah, and I think it's just, you can get a bit blasé as a driver. You finish your lap, your heart rate starts coming down. Like I say, you're looking at some things which probably aren't that important in terms of the steering wheel or just like I say, communication from the team. Even next minute you've missed your braking point and you've got a bit of a scene on, so it goes to show you, even at 7 tenths, 6 tenths, if you're getting a little bit deep, you've got a bit of work to do.
Hey, let's check in once more in pit lane where Rick Kelly and Mark Larkham are standing by. By the way, Rico, we forgot to congratulate you, mate, on a top 10 finish. Not only that, but you and your brother inside the top 10. Well done.
I appreciate that. A top 10 wasn't what we're after. We wanted to be a little bit higher than that, but nevertheless, it's a fantastic points bank for us to head out of the first round. But the sad thing is we have to wait a whole another year to come back here. It certainly is one of the best events, isn't it?
I thought it was just a pretty strong effort, mate, all in all.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Larko, the next time, of course, we go racing in terms of V8 Supercars, non-championship round at the Australian Grand Prix at Albert Park. But try telling the bloke next to you that no points are up for grabs.
No, well, it doesn't matter. They just go flat out. But I just think it's great, Matty. Look at this weekend. Red Bull didn't quite fire. HRT are back in the game. Shane Van Gisbergen's back in the game. The Nissans are fast, and we have not yet seen Scotty McLaughlin have a crack at it. This is going to be an outstanding year. Make no mistake of it.
Boys, we appreciate your effort across the weekend. Looking forward to seeing you on RPM next weekend. That's Sunday at 4 o'clock. Looking forward to seeing you there too. Now, Mark Webber, I know you've had a ball here, mate. 2 weeks we'll both be together again at the Formula One Grand Prix. Quick word on your take, first ever Clipsal 500.
Yeah, it's a long, good weekend. I think you see the different temperatures, the massive crowd. You see everyone enjoying it. Like I say, F18, the trucks doing their thing, and you've got the classic touring cars and some great categories. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I've got some fun lined up for you on RPM next week. I'm not going to give you away too much, but just say hashtag get working on your simulator. That's all you need.
Stitch up.
On behalf of Mark Webber, Mark Larkham, Rick Kelly, the entire 10 team, we hope you've enjoyed the Clipsal 500. Great to be back on your home of big event motorsport. Have a great evening. Bye for now.
2015 is